Hello, friends, and welcome to your weekly pick a card reading with me, Intuitive Rene. As always such an honor and privilege to be here with you today. And we are doing quite a different topic or theme question this week. As you can see, I have got 3 feathers on the table here with me. I am a collector of feathers, naturally collecting as I see them lying on the ground and I pick them up. And I thought I'm going to allow you to choose a feather this week to guide you on the reading that you need to hear right here and right now. So this is a timeless video, timeless reading, which means you can come back to it at any point, whenever you find it, whenever you watch it, it'll be relevant and appropriate to you then. We are doing some ancestral healing today. And I thought it was something that was necessary. And I think, again, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter what your culture is, what your history is, or what your background is, but understanding our ancestors and how they work with us, how they help us, and how they help us to heal and navigate whatever it is we're going through in this world, I think is really, really important. So that's what our topic is for today, is ancestral healing, finding out how our ancestors are working with us, how they are helping us, and what can we do to make it easier and better for them and for us as well. The feathers that I have on the table here are just really to help you choose whether you're going to go for reading 1, reading 2, or reading 3. So if this is the first time that you're doing a pick a card reading, that's basically what needs to happen, is you choose 1 out of the 3 readings. You are welcome, of course, to choose 2 or to choose all 3. That is entirely up to you. But it's really just to help differentiate between the readings. So I do 3 readings that are exactly the same format, the same structure, using the same card systems, but obviously the cards themselves make the reading different. And I'm going to identify them by reading 1, reading 2, and reading 3. So once you know which is the reading you're drawn to or guided to, you can go straight across to that reading and get the message that you need to hear from your ancestors, about your ancestors, with your ancestors. So white feather, I'm going to call it red feather, and let's call it black feather. They do all have a little bit of color differentiations with them. Like this one's got a bit of a bluey purple kind of tinge to it, and this one does have a black tip, but it might not come through on the coloring on the camera. But those are the 3 feathers that I have chosen to use today. What else do I need to say to you? We are doing ancestral healing. We're going to be doing work with our ancestors. So I'm going to encourage you to take it a little bit more seriously than you would normally, because ancestor work is so important. You know, all our family members who have come before us, gone before us, they still very much work with us to help us have the earth experience that we need to have right now. And it's important that we constantly check in, that we do these on a regular basis to make sure that we are not holding back or hindering that kind of progress or relationship that we have with our ancestors. So I'm going to start off with the first reading. Let me tell you about the cards that I'm going to work. Maybe that's what I should be doing. I always forget what I should be doing. I should have it written down, but I don't. So the cards that I'm going to be working with for the main bulk of the reading, I am going to be working with a very interesting deck. This is called the Mother Peace Tarot. It is a round deck. You can see some of the images here. It is quite an ancestral deck. I find it quite strong in the African culture, and I think it's going to be quite awesome to see the messages that come through from it. So it's not a deck I work with very often, I have to be honest with you, but it is quite powerful. So we're going to work with that deck. Then we're going to work with this amazing group of decks. This is a massive, chunky group. It's got 2 decks in it. It's soul cards 1 and 2. And this will be to help us identify the actual ancestors that are coming through and working with us. And then, because I have the round Mother Peace Tarot, I thought, well, let me use the round Oracle deck that I have. And that one is this collection of 200 cards, and it is the Tea Leaf Fortune cards. Again, there are 200 of them here. It is a monster pile of cards that we will use as well. So certainly going to be a very interesting reading using the decks that I've chosen. So at this point, you're going to ask yourself, which of the feathers are you drawn to? Which of the three readings is the one that you need to go for? And when you know which one it is, you can just click on the chapter down below. It'll have it all listed for you. At the moment, it'll say intro. So if you click on where it says intro, it'll open up for the different chapters and you can go straight to your appropriate reading. Hello friends, and welcome to those of you who chose the feather as the reading that you need to hear right now. We're going to get straight into your reading, and I am using the round Mother Peace Tarot. It is this is the mini deck, so there is a bigger sized round one, but I thought I have this mini one, so we're going to use that one today. So I've got quite a few questions that I have written down with compliments of spirit. They guided me on the questions to be asking today. And the first question that we want to ask is around the question of the ancestor in question. So we are doing ancestral healing today. We're looking at having a connection with an ancestor and asking a few questions and seeing how we're doing on our journey of life. So as I'm shuffling the cards and I'm just setting the intention and we're just inviting ancestors to come through, all of them, because obviously each one of you has a different ancestor. So we're asking them to come through. We're asking them to connect with every single one of us here today. We're asking them to come in love and light. And we're asking for a band of love, light, and healing around you and me throughout this entire session. We're asking that even though the reading is general and for the collective and for everybody who has chosen the feather, we're asking that it makes sense to you. We're asking that it be relevant and appropriate to you. And we're asking that it makes sense to you. All right. So I am happy with the shuffle. I am going to cut the deck over there and I'm going to lay out, I forget now how many cards. Let me just read my questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from this deck. So I'm just going to put them face down and see if I can get them to fit on my table. I like that about a round deck is I don't know which way is up. So I've got 5 from that deck, and then I am going to take a couple more questions or a couple more cards from other decks. So we're going to work with these 5 first, and then we will look into the others. So the first question that we have is a card that to help you identify the ancestor in question that's working with you today. So from the tarot, just a card to describe the ancestor in question, and we have got the Wheel of Fortune. So immediately what I'm seeing is quantity. Can you see that? I see that there are plenty, that there are many. And I think the question that, or the answer that this is giving, is that we don't have, in all of you who chose the white feather, we don't have a single ancestor in question. We have multiple ancestors that have come through, multiple ancestors in all shapes and forms, so many different ones coming through, saying that we're connecting with you on all levels. The Wheel of Fortune, though, is just to bring the tarot interpretation into it as well. Wheel of Fortune is the card of karma. It's the card of understanding just the way that the wheel turns and understanding that we can't always navigate or have any control over the way that the wheel turns, and we just have to go with it. And I think this is saying that you need to recognize that it's your most powerful, your strongest of your ancestors that are stepping through to help you with this ancestral healing right now. And you've got to just trust that what you hear is correct, what you hear is valid, and that it is relevant for each of you. Our second question that we have is a card to understand your relationship that you have with them now that they are in spirit, now that they are your ancestors. What kind of a relationship do you currently have with them? And the card that we have here is the 3 of Discs, which is stunning. Such a beautiful card to get. It is the card of teamwork. It's the card of working together. It's the card of saying there is a lot of physical labor that needs to be done, things that need to take place. And you are working together, working with your ancestors in a I help you, you help me kind of scenario. So your relationship with them is one based on practical. It is one based on getting things done, physically achieving things. So you've got your ancestors helping you and guiding you on your journey, and you are helping and guiding them on theirs. So it is a teamwork scenario, which I think is really good. A lot of people seem to think that, especially with our ancestors, that it's very much one-sided, that they need to help you, that they need to give you, that they need to navigate your life. But actually, no, we need to help them as much as they help us. And we do that by carrying their burdens. See, I'm understanding where this is going now. We help them. So understanding your ancestors are family members who have passed on. And you think, well, how can I help them? What can I do for them? Well, by you carrying their burdens, by carrying their debts, their weights, their situations that they had when they were living, and resolving those, making it easier, making it better, uplifting, changing it, but you working together in helping ease the situation that you have. I'm loving this. Question 3, or our third one that we have, is how does this relationship with your ancestor impact your life today? What impact does it have? How does it impact your life, your relationship with your ancestor? And the card we have is, we've got more brickwork, hey? It's the 8 of Swords. So this is quite interesting, because what we've got is we've got this kind of wall coming up, but we obviously are not seeing the full picture. We're obviously only seeing a little portion of it, but it certainly looks like there's no doorways, there's no way out. The person in the middle here is using the swords that they have access to, using all that they have advantage of, to try and break a way out. They're trying to push through the bricks, to push a way out, and they're not succeeding. So this may be you, and I see we've got some glare. Let me bring these down and just see if I can eliminate a bit of glare. So the question we're asking here is how this particular relationship with your ancestor, how it's impacting on your life on a day-to-day basis. And this is saying that you're feeling like actually you can't do anything with it. You're feeling a little bit stuck. You're feeling a little bit blocked in, like you're limited, like you're restricted, like you are trapped. But actually that's not the case at all. Yes, there may be this actual physical wall around you, but that actual physical wall is really just a figment of your human imagination. You are working with spirit to build that wall. So it's like you and spirit are working to build the wall. You and your ancestors are building it, but then your human's going, I don't understand. I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I'm caged. I don't know how to get out of here. So it's almost like a catch-22 kind of scenario. And when I look at this, I do think that you need to recognize the power that is available to you in your ancestral work, in working with your ancestors, and realizing that you don't have to do everything on your own. You've got them to assist you and to support you. You've got their backup, and they want to help, but you have to ask. So at the moment, you're helping them to build the wall that's caging you and that's closing you and that's trapping you. And you don't know how to put your hand up and say, all right, so now can you help me get out of here? And I think this is what we need to understand, is working with spirit. It's very much a situation of, yes, we have to do what we have to do. We have to, and we're prepared to do it, and you are doing it well. But when you find yourself stuck, when you find yourself in a pickle, don't feel bad to ask them to step forward and to assist. And if you don't ask, they're not going to help. They're not going to interfere in your life without your permission, without your say-so. So your relationship with them may be feeling very much one-sided when actually it's not at all. Okay. Question 4, and question 4 is, how can you be more open to this connection with your ancestors? So how can you be more open? And the card that we have is card 0 in the tarot, which is the card of the Fool. It's the card of new beginnings. It's the card of new opportunities. It's the card that says, don't overthink things. Don't over-question things. Just trust and just go with the flow. Just be jovial in your responses and in your actions and in your behaviors. Don't overthink and say, oh, well, you know what? I tried that before and it didn't work. It's not going to try now. Just try it again. Be open to endless possibilities. Be open to opportunities, because they are all around you. And as I said, if something didn't work before, don't make the assumption that it wouldn't work again. How can you be more open to your connection to your ancestors? By just letting them guide you and inspire you. And even if it just really doesn't seem practical, even if it just really doesn't seem like it's the right thing to do, whatever they're giving you, whatever spirit are guiding you, whatever your ancestors are sort of putting in front of you, just say yes, please, and thank you, and try. If you don't try, if you don't put the effort in, if you don't do what's necessary, you will find yourself blocked in blocked into a room with no way out at all. And number 5, what is the main reason that this ancestor is connecting with you? So what is the main thing that needs healing in your life right now, that the ancestor is trying to assist you with. And we have got the Four of Pentacles. So here we've got a baby that seems to have fallen out of its crib, but the baby's still holding on to all the things that are relevant and appropriate. Oh, I said four, it's the ace. I can't read. Oh my gosh, I can't read. It is a terrible font. I'm going to blame it on the font. So let me start that again. We have a baby that has fallen out of its crib or climbed out of its crib. It's lying on a blanket kind of thing, and that's what I'm interpreting it as. It's holding on to all the things that are relevant and appropriate, but it's realizing that it's outgrown the crib, and it realizes that there's a whole new world out there to explore and to experience on a physical, tangible level. So what needs healing in your life? What is your ancestor want to help you with right here and right now is exploring potential possibilities. And that's why you had the Wheel of Fortune, and that's why you've got the Fool card. You feel as if you have no options. You feel as if you're trapped, caged, and stuck. You feel as if you've got no way out and nowhere to go. But the reality is, if you trust in spirit, and that's exactly what you need to do, you are prepared to do the work. We can see that, but you need to trust they're going to provide you with opportunities, but you have to make the steps. You have to climb out of the crib. You have to fall out of your crib. You have to do the things necessary to initiate and instigate. Because if you're staying in the crib the whole time, maybe your parents are going to look at you and go, no, you're quite fine and happy in the crib. But if you keep falling out, they'll eventually get the message that, oh, okay, we need a change. We need something different. You need a bigger bed. So it's almost like you've got to allow things to unfold in whichever way they do. So if you keep falling out of your crib, that is exactly what spirit needs you to do. And that is how they're going to help you heal whatever needs healing in your life. Okay, I'm going to push these up out of the way just so that I have some space. I know there is a little bit of glare, but I'm hoping it won't be too bad. I'm now going to use this deck, and this is my Soul Cards combination deck. It's two decks in one. So you can see the reddy color and the bluey color or greeny color are from, it's from the same creator, but it's Soul Cards 1 and Soul Cards 2. And it is an incredibly difficult deck for me to shuffle. So I'm not going to do a lot of shuffle. I'm just literally going to do one shuffle like that. And then I'm going to grab a card. And what we're looking here is a message, direct message from your ancestor from Soul Cards 1 and 2. And I'm going to cut the deck there. And I'm taking that card. So let's have a look. A message from your ancestor for all of you here in today. We have got, oh, I love this. Isn't that beautiful? It's upside down. Sorry. I was just looking at it thinking, oh, it's so beautiful, but it looks like it should be the other way around. Look at this. We have got two hearts intertwined. And this is you in spirit. This is saying that we are one. We're not two separate individuals. We are the same individual. We are connected. We are together. I am this close to you. I am part of you. I am you. You are me. And I think that fits in so beautifully with the reading and the message that we've had today. Sometimes we feel as if we are stuck, caged, and trapped. But actually, when you realize the potential that you have within you, the potential to work with your ancestor, to allow them, to give them permission to connect with you through you, you'll be amazed at all that you can achieve. This is definitely heart shape. Okay, we've got a heart shape there, we've got a heart shape over here, we've got heart shape on the big picture. So this is just spirit saying, I love you, I am you, you are me, we are intertwined, we are connected, and we are as one. And I think as a message from your ancestor, I do think that is beautiful. Trying to find a space where there is no glare. And then, friends, our final, reaching over, our final thing that I want to do is from our tea leaf fortune cards. We're asking our ancestor for a little bit of guidance around the outlook of the future, for the future. So for you now, we've identified, we've spoken, we've cleared a bit. Let's have a look, and we're asking the ancestor. We understand and we appreciate how connected you are, how connected we are, how together we are. But can we just have an outlook for the future? What do you need to know? What do you need to be aware of? What is something important and significant that you need to be aware of for coming up that hasn't yet happened in your life? Okay. And cutting over there. And I'm going to take two cards. So the first one we have is Fan. And the second one we have is mice. So let me put the whole deck away. Let's have a look at the fan. So this is one of those fancy hand fans that we would use to cool ourselves down in the middle of summer. Its key phrases are romance, celebration, and party. So this is Spirit saying to you to take the time to be fancy, take the time to live a better life. Give yourself an opportunity to be fancy, okay? Fancy. Celebrate life, celebrate love, celebrate, and that's why we also had them coming through as the love card connection for you. But then this is an interesting one, because mice is generally not a positive, not a good thing. It talks about discord amongst family or friends or family. So an outlook for your future is Spirit saying to you, just be careful of relationships, celebrations, and parties with people who maybe aren't right for you. If there's going to be a family gathering, if there's going to be a celebration, if there's going to be some kind of an activity, just make sure that you are aware of potential trouble that may come, potential disagreements or arguments, and maybe keep them as separate as you can. But make sure that it doesn't interfere in your party, in your celebration, in your relationships at the moment, because going forward there's definitely some kind of trouble that could be coming through in your relationship. And Spirit is saying, and I want to bring this card back into it, because just to remind you, this is you building the brick wall with Spirit because they're asking you to, and then feeling all caged and trapped and stuck inside of that brick wall and feeling like there's no way out. But actually there's plenty ways out. Maybe instead of trying to tackle everything on your own, maybe you need to be asking people to step forward and to assist you. So just be watching, just be careful of this going forward. If there are any social events or functions or family gatherings taking place, just be careful that it doesn't, that an argument or a something that comes up doesn't cause trouble within your relationship. So friends, I do hope that you've enjoyed your ancestor healing reading. I hope it talks to your soul. I hope it gives you the answers, the courage, the motivation, and the enthusiasm you need to know that you're not alone and that your ancestors love you. We can see that with this particular card as a reminder that you are one with them, that you are connected to them, that you are one and the same being, and the love that they have for you is bigger than you and I could ever put into words. So friends, thank you so much for being with me today, as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. Welcome to those of you who have chosen the red feather as the reading that you need to watch right here and right now. So I have the Mother Peace Tarot in my hand. As you can see, it is a wonderfully small round deck. And I do really enjoy this deck, especially for ancestral work. I have got quite a few questions that I want to take us through, and we're going to start off with this particular deck now, giving it a bit of a shuffle, and I really want to set a strong intention as I shuffle this deck. I want to invite our ancestors, yours and mine collectively, to step forward today, to connect with us today, to bring through messages of love and light. We ask that they come in peace. We ask that they come on a level of love. And we ask that they put a band of love, light, and protection around each one of us as we do ancestor work today. We're asking advice and guidance from our ancestors around who are they? What is our relationship like with them? What are they trying to help us with? What are we doing together? What is the relationship like? And where do you need healing in your life right now? We're also going to have a couple of other questions as well. All right, so I have shuffled the deck. Going to cut the deck over there, and I'm going to draw out 5 cards because I need 5 cards from this particular deck. We do have a little bit of glare, but it's not too bad. So 5 cards from this tarot deck, and then I will draw from the other cards or the other decks a little bit later on. So starting off with our first one, and like I say, being a round deck, you don't know which way is up. It's fabulous. This is a card to identify, to describe the ancestor that is connecting with each of us right now. And remembering, we are doing a collective reading. It's for everybody who's chosen the feather. So it's not a personal specific one to you, but we do ask that the reading strike a chord and be specific to you today. So a card to identify your ancestor, we have got the Three of Discs. So this would be somebody who helps you to build, somebody who was into that building industry, or somebody who was very responsible for building people up, for creating situations, structures. So somebody who was very about rules, procedures, and structures in their life, and possibly even in your own life if you did meet them and if you knew about them. Somebody who wasn't afraid of climbing, somebody who wasn't afraid of reaching heights, somebody who wasn't afraid of going bigger. I think that's really such a good description. Somebody who wasn't afraid of achieving it all, getting to the top, climbing to the top, and taking people along with them, because that's exactly what's going on here. Here we have this person who is passing the bricks and, passing to that person who passes. So it's this kind of teamwork scenario, working together, achieving things, working for the collective, working for the family. So this is the ancestor in question connecting with you today, and I hope that makes sense to you. Next card we have is a card to describe the relationship that you have with them at the moment. So your relationship with them at the moment, and we've got the Empress card. Empress card is beautiful. So these are Empress lying, and she's lying on the shores of what could be a river or what could be whatever. She's got her mirror, which means that she knows how important and significant and how beautiful she is. She's surrounded by all natural people, situations, and circumstances. There's a lot of animal energy here, and she realizes that she's the one that gives life to. So in question with regards to, just to put it down so we can look at the two cards together, this is the card to describe your ancestor. This is your card to describe your relationship with them. So I'm wondering if they are not on your maternal side, on your mother's side, because Empress is all about nurturing and mothering and giving life. So it would have been somebody who gave life to your lineage, and somebody who understood the importance of climbing, succeeding, achieving, working together, creating for the common good, and somebody who wasn't afraid to stand right above the top at the most scary of places to assist everybody beneath them, everybody below them. So somebody who was very hierarchical, matriarchal, but definitely on a feminine, maternal side of your life. So your relationship with them is definitely a maternal relationship. They were maternal to you. Okay, so that's quite interesting. We're really getting some specifics, which I think is great. This next card is going to describe how your relationship with this particular ancestor, how it impacts your life today. So let's have a look. How does it impact your life today? And we have got the major arcana card of the Chariot, which is about movement. It's about change. It's about progress. It's about evolution. But it's also about making sure that you stay focused on the things that are relevant and appropriate in life, so that you don't lose sight of what is truly important. So how does this relationship with your ancestor impact your life today? This card is basically saying to you that, you need to move away from where you were. All right, whether that is literally, figuratively, emotionally, spiritually, etc. Okay, this is about you recognizing that where you come from is not necessarily where you're going to spend the rest of your life. That we are nomads. We are going to move, and every time we move, we're going to improve. We're going to become better. We're going to become stronger. We're going to do more, achieve more, have more, see more, experience more. Okay, and the relationship that you have is that it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where you physically are in relation to where your ancestor was. You will always have that bond, and you will always have that connection, because they're going to go with you wherever you go. So you are never abandoned, you are never lost, you are never alone, especially when it comes to travel. So this ancestor of yours impacts your life with regards to taking care of the travel and to help you move on, help you move further, help you to experience the journey of life in a much better, stronger way. Loving this. Okay, card 4. How can you be more open to this? How can you be more open to this connection, to this relationship, and to knowing that this ancestor works with you through your travels, movements, and change? And we have another major arcana card, and it's the one of Judgment. So, and this was to answer the question of how can you be more open to this relationship or this connection with the ancestor. And the Judgment card, quite an interesting one, because obviously we're seeing this beautiful rainbow. We're seeing the earth and we're seeing the cross. Okay, so it's basically saying, and I'm just going to throw this out at you as I hear it from Spirit, is about being more open to religion. whatever religion talks to you, whatever religion feels right to you, whatever religion means to you. But it's definitely about giving back, serving, being of service. So the question we're asking is how to be more open to this connection with your ancestor. And it's about being of service and giving back to others. And I really want to put in some kind of a religious kind of environment or circumstance or situation. If you are usually a religious person and you've recently not been so religious, consider this a message from Spirit that it's time to get back. If you've never been a religious person, but you've been somebody who's upheld morals and beliefs and that kind of stuff within yourself, find a religion, because that's what the rainbow represents. The rainbow represents everybody, all religions, all kinds, all manners, all forms, all types, all shapes, and all sizes. So just see this as a message to find something, find a place where you feel like there's a connection, where you feel like there's a sense of belonging, and you need to get more involved, you need to connect more, you need to do more, you need to be more. And that is how you would be honoring, respecting, and being more open to the connection that you have with your ancestors. And this one I think is going to be very interesting, because the question I have here is, what needs healing in your life right now that this particular ancestor wants to help you with? So what is the reason for this particular message so far? What needs healing in your life right now? And it is the card of the Six of Cups. And so again, immediately when I see this, I'm thinking of the parting of the waters in the Christian Bible, but that's not what this card is about. The Six of Cups is about to put it into, and I want to try and keep it into ancestral kind of interpretations, but it's about bridging the gap between the old and the new. It's about being that bridge between old traditions and modern traditions. It's about thinking back to the way things used to be, cultural, traditional ways of things being done previously, and understanding the modern methods and processes that we go through today, and finding common ground between the two, and recognizing that we can't live there and we can't live there. We need to create a bridge between the two. And that's why card 3 that we have is how this relationship with your ancestor impacts your life today. And we got the Chariot, which is the card of the movement, the progress, the evolution between the two. So it's like you have quite an important function, quite an important role to play in bridging the gap between old traditions, modern traditions. So we're not losing, but we are updating, modernizing, re-engineering. I don't know what the right words are, but it seems like that is something that you need to do, because the ancestor in question is somebody who was always thinking about the collective, always thinking about the family, the bigger picture, helping everybody achieve things, doing the scary stuff, doing the hard work, but realizing that they gave life to people and circumstances. And you, all of you who chose the red feather, that's exactly who you are. You are that same individual. And this is your ancestors telling you it's time to step up to the plate. It's time for you to find a community, okay? To find a community that you can help to bridge the gap between the old and the new. And you need to be that person, all right? So we're not done. I'm just going to push these out of the way into a little bit of glee, just so that I have a bit more space on the table. And I'm now grabbing this really big, massive, chunky deck. This is my Soul Cards 1 and 2. Shuffling this deck is almost impossible for me, so I'm not going to give it a massive shuffle. And what we're looking at from this particular deck right now is just an additional message from the ancestor in question, okay? An additional message from the ancestors for you right here and right now, based on what we have already covered, based on what we have already said. Anything else that the ancestors want to add for each of you right here and right now, okay? So I have done 2 very bad shuffles. I am going to cut the deck there and taking that card off the top. So let's have a look. An additional message from your ancestors for you today. Let's see what we've got. You see, I love that. Can you see how we are all one? We are all one and the same. We have got And remember, I was saying to you that your ancestor is probably a maternal somebody in your line, in your family. And this is what we have over here. We have got one person who is part of another person, who comes from another person, who comes from another person, and we're all interconnected. We're all intertwined. And we have to understand, if we look at the faces, and I just love how these eyes speak so much, what I'm hearing from Spirit is that in honoring, making changes doesn't mean dishonor, is the words that I'm hearing. Making changes means to honor, to respect. It means that we're improving on, we're making better, and we're simplifying the life that we have, but understanding that we don't necessarily have to stick to old methods and old processes in order to become more awake, to become wiser, and to become more in tune and more connected to the world around us. Okay. So I'm going to put that card, I'm trying to find a space where it doesn't have too much glare, and unfortunately there is just a lot of glare. All right, so I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully it avoids the glare. So the next one that I want, and I'm taking my tea leaf fortune cards. There are 200 of them in this little pack. Let's give it a bit of a shuffle. And the question, or what we're looking at here, is we're looking for a message from the ancestor in question around the forecast for your future. So what's coming up for you in the future? What do you need to know? What do you need to be aware of? Message that the ancestor has for you for the upcoming future. Let's have a look and see what comes up. Oh, I am going to throw them all over the... So woman came up, a woman and a whale, but I'm going to put them back because that was just really me bad shuffling the deck. Okay. Let's find a place to cut the deck over there. And I am going to take two cards from this deck. We have got a purse and we have got a unicorn. And of course, we all love unicorns. Sorry, the coloring is terrible. Let's have a look. The purse says, pay attention to your finances. Okay, so beautiful, perfect, crystal clear message from the ancestors to pay attention to your finances, because the unicorn is telling you to use your intuition to make beneficial changes. So that is confirmation that things are not going, gosh, the coloring, there we go. Things are not going as well as they should be. Things are not going according to plan. There's a lot going on for you here. There's a lot that you need to take in. There's a lot that you need to adjust. Trying to adjust, forgive me, trying to adjust the coloring, but it seems to be doing its own thing. So let's have a look. Message from the ancestors with regards to the purse and the unicorn. This is them saying to you that there is something going on. There is something happening around your finances that you need to be aware of, that you need to know about. And you need to use your intuition, because your intuition is your connection with the ancestors. Your intuition is them connecting and talking to you and guiding you on the journey, guiding you on the process that you need to make. They are helping and almost, if I can say, whispering into your mind. Your intuition is the connection that you have with your ancestors. And if you trust that, if you listen to that, if you take the advice and guidance, let your intuition guide you to make the changes that you need to make with regards to your finances. And maybe also being able to assist others, being able to work within the community, being able to be that support system for other people, bridging the gap between the old and the new, may also help with your finances. So do what you need to do, friends, to just be mindful of your finances going forward. And I hope that it all works out for you. Thank you for being with me today. And as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. And welcome to those of you who chose the black feather as the reading. That is the one you need to hear today. Welcome. I have my Mother Peace Tarot here in my hands, and as you can see, it is quite a small, beautifully round deck. I'm going to give it a shuffle, and today we're going to, because we're doing ancestor work, I do like to be I do have to like to have a little bit of integrity around the work that we do with ancestors, just to honor and respect them, who they are, and what they bring to our lives. So as I'm shuffling the cards, we're asking them to draw near. We're sending out an invitation And we're asking our ancestors as a collective to connect with us, to guide us in this reading, and to make sure that everything that we get today, even though it is general and for the collective, that it still has some value and some appreciation or some strength and acknowledgement for each one of you. We're asking that they come in love and light only. We're asking for a band of love, light, and protection to be placed around you and me throughout this reading as we connect with our ancestors, to hear their message, to hear what it is that they want to say, and what needs to come through from them. So from this particular deck, I am only going to be taking 5 cards. So let's just cut the deck over there. And I'm going to lay out the 5 cards that we are needing. And then once we've read from these 5, I will draw from the other 2 decks that I have as well. So we do have a little bit of glare, but hopefully it's not too bad. Let's get straight into it and have a look. So our first card that we have is a card to describe the ancestor connecting with each of us here and now. And the card that we have there is the 7 of Cups. How beautiful is it? So if we have a look, they are a cup, and they are giving of themselves to 6 other cups around them. The 7 of Cups is the card of choices and options. So I think this is their way of basically saying to you that we're not connecting with a single one, we're connecting with many, multiple, and they're all basically one and the same. So, I was talking about doing a reading for the collective, and I was saying, even though our ancestors, we don't share the same ancestor, but this is them saying, but we all come from the same place anyway. We all come from the same cup. We all are fed from the same cup. And of course, we have the peace dove there as well, which I think is just so awesome and so beautiful. So a card to describe our ancestor is saying that, whoever we're connecting with today is source. And take it as you want to, understand it in whichever way you want to, but just know that we are connecting straight there. And yes, we each are different, but we're all the same anyway. And our ancestors, even though we do have our own individual ancestors, they all ultimately come from the same place and go back to the same place, just as we do. I love that. This next card is to describe the relationship that you have with your ancestor right now. And here we have the Sun card. My favorite animal, giraffe. You'd think it's the butterfly, but nope, it's the giraffe. I love my giraffe. We've got zebra, we've got giraffe, we've got moth, we've got balloons, we've got party, we've got swimming costumes, we've got all those glorious things that we do here in the African sun. We go to the outdoors, we go to the wildlife, we connect next to water, we have parties, we have all sorts of glorious things. The message that I get there is, remember that card is to answer the question of your relationship with your ancestors. And this is confirming that you've got a really good relationship with your ancestors. But you come to them in moments of joy, in moments of happiness. You come to them looking for joy and happiness. And just like summer, we're not in summer at the moment here in South Africa. We're in the middle of our winter. But where I am, winter is just, weather is perfect. It is just the best. The days are still quite nice and warm, but the evenings are just a little bit chilly. It is just, to me, perfect. But this is saying that your relationship with spirit is not just in the happy times, not just in the good times. Yes, we do look to them in those moments, but we also understand that it is like the seasons. They come and they go and they're forever changing, but we always come back to source. We always come back. And isn't it funny how the message is almost the same from these two, recognizing that it's different, but it's the same. And this is exactly our relationship. So sometimes we are going to go through the darker periods where we may pull away from our ancestors. And then as soon as things are looking okay, we connect and we redraw, we reconnect with our ancestors. So that's quite interesting the way that comes through. Card number 3 is how this impacts your life. So this could be quite interesting. This relationship that you have with your ancestors, how does it impact your day-to-day life? And the card that we have there is the Crone, card number 9 of the Crone. And, there's a lot happening in this particular card. And if you understand Crone energy is very matriarchal, very powerful, very strong, almost intimidating, okay? And I think that's exactly the message that's coming through here is the way that you are in your relationship with spirit, in your relationship with your ancestors, is almost a feeling of intimidation. You're almost afraid to go with your problems, which is why you're only going when the sun shines. You're only going to when there's happiness and joy and success and all of those kind of good things, because we're afraid of the power. We're afraid of what lies there. We're afraid of all of that. And maybe afraid is not quite the right word to use. Maybe intimidated, nervous, around the power that's there. So we don't want to abuse it. We don't want to take advantage of it. We want to honor and respect it. But in our honoring and respecting, we are maybe not fully embracing all that is there. I'm loving that. The next card we have is, how can you be more open to your connection with your ancestor? How can you be more open to this relationship with them? And the card that we have here is the Sun of Discs. So the Sun of Discs in traditional tarot would be the Page of Pentacles. And look what he's doing. He's shooting his bow and arrow. He's aiming for that target. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he needs to achieve. And he's sort of like preparing himself to do it. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't released that bow. And if you look, he hasn't shot anything. Nothing has landed yet. So he knows what he's working towards, and he's preparing himself. He's practicing. He's getting ready. He's pulling before he actually lets go of his bow and arrow and shoots his arrow. So how can you be more open? By doing the work, by preparing yourself. Because I can tell you now that you have to have this engagement. You have to have this interaction. And it's interesting how the feather is the darkest and the biggest out of the three that I chose, which means it's the more powerful, the more serious one. Okay. And it's interesting that the reading that's coming through here seems to be a lot more powerful, a lot more serious than the other two readings that I've just completed were. So the Sun of Discs, in answer to the question of how can you be more open, it's about practice. It's about rocking up. It's about putting the effort in before the main event. And I think, when we have our connection with spirit, we're always thinking about, the prayer time or the social engagements, all those kind of activities. And I think the message that comes through here is about being open, about, if you're preparing for a sporting event, you have to practice many hours, many weeks, many months ahead of the event, of the race, of the whatever it may be. You can't just rock up on the day and expect things to work. And I think this is exactly the message that's coming through, is your relationship, your connection to your ancestors is not just at events, not just at certain times, not just at certain, scenarios, weddings and funerals, okay? we need to be putting the effort in, we need to be preparing, so that when we have the big events, the connection is just even better and stronger. But you need to start preparing, you need to start practicing, you need to start putting the effort in that is needed in this connection to spirit. I'm loving this. Okay, so the reason, what needs healing in your life right now? Why is this connection to your ancestors so important right here and right now? Why do you need to be putting in the practice? Why do you need to be putting in the effort? And we have the card of the Magician. Okay, card number 1 in the tarot, it is the Magician, and he is the magic creator. He is, and if you look at him, he's pretending to be a leopard, but he's just wearing a suit sort of in front of him. His arms and his legs are completely separate. So he is the Magician. He is the creator of all things. He is the one who can take a simple something and manifest something amazing out of it. He is the one who has infinite potential to manifest and to create whatever it is that he needs. So this is your ancestor saying to you, recognize that you have a direct connection to source. You need to understand that there is always time and energy for spirit connection. You need to recognize that there's no reason to be fearful. There's no reason to be afraid, that you are actually strong enough to handle this, that you are actually strong enough to deal with this. Practice is needed. Preparation is needed. I think I'm going to use that word as opposed to practice. Preparation is needed because you are somebody awesome, somebody amazing. The power and the potential that you have within you is incredibly strong, incredibly powerful, and you're sort of coming into your own right now, okay? On a ancestral spiritual level, you're stepping into your power. You are becoming something, and you need all the support that you can get in order to hone, to master this ability that you have. So practice necessary. Okay, I'm going to push these cards up to the top of the table a little bit, just so that I can make some space for other cards. And the next deck that I am working with is this chunky monster. You can see how thick it is. It is a huge deck. It is my soul cards 1 and 2. And I'm going to draw just a single card from this deck. I'm not going to give it a massive shuffle because it is so difficult to shuffle. And I did shuffle before I started recording. But as I'm shuffling now, we're asking for a connection. We're asking for a message from our ancestors specifically. A specific message from our ancestors, please, to help us understand this reading, to help us take what we need to take from this reading today. Okay, so cards are shuffled, cutting the deck there, and I'm going to take that card off the top. And I've just bumped all the other cards. Right. Message from our ancestor. Let's see what we get. So, love this. So what we've got is this ancestor. It seems like they're stepping out of a purple void, okay? We have got, to me, you know, have you ever seen those pictures of the sun, but those close-up pictures of the sun? To me, this is what this yellow looks like. It looks like those flames that are sort of coming off, the gases that are burning off the sun. And we have this purple doorway that has opened, and forward steps our ancestor. Look at all these feathers that we have. Isn't it appropriate that I chose the feather? And if we look at the hands, the hand gesture, it's almost like welcoming or inviting or saying, you know, stepping forward, if I can put it that way. I get that when we show palms, we show that we're not holding or hiding anything, that we're being completely open and transparent, and it definitely looks like they're coming towards us. So friends, for those of you who chose this feather, the message that your ancestors is giving you is you have power within you that we cannot even begin to describe or even understand right now. You've got to start preparing yourself and getting yourself ready for the big main event that's coming. You need to understand that you need to welcome, invite, and attract spirit ancestor into your life. If you don't say yes, come to me, they're going to stand there waiting, because that's what they're doing, is they're standing and they're waiting. They need you to say, yes, please, come to me, help me, guide me, work with me, assist me to understand these energies, assist me to work with these very strong, powerful energies, guide me through this process, because I can't do it on my own. If you don't initiate and ask, it's not going to happen. Okay, so that's very, very important. Next I have is my deck of tea leaf fortune cards. Okay, there are 200 cards in this pack. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 2 cards from this pack. And we're asking our ancestors for a little message around our outlook for the future. So what do we need to know? What is coming up for you in the future? What is something that you need to be aware of, that you need to be mindful of for the future? So something coming up for you in the future. Okay, again, happy with that shuffle. It is quite a big deck. Cutting over there. And I'm going to take 2 cards straight off the top. So let's turn them over and see what we've got. First card we have is the ant. Work, achievement, success. And isn't that everything we've just been saying? That you have to work in order to achieve, in order to have success. And the second card we have is the stork. News of a birth or a new business opportunity. And again, I think this ties in with everything that this reading has been saying to you. So you have to do the work. You have to put the practice in. You have to do the preparation. You have to be ready for whatever it is that you're birthing. I'm not going to go to the children, to the family, to the babies. Okay, if that is something that you're looking for, then absolutely let it be that. But I'm going to say some birthing of a new situation, circumstance, event in your life, something that you've been too afraid. But the fact that we've got the magician as to what needs healing in your life, what you need to be manifesting, this is saying that hard work, achievement, and success will absolutely bring it through for you, but you need to invite your ancestors to assist you. You need to invite your ancestors in. They are right there. They're standing in the doorway. They're just waiting for you to call them in, and they will step forward and they will help you, and they will guide you through whatever it is that you need help with in your life right now. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed your connection with the ancestors. I hope it's just what you needed. I hope it's given you a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of motivation to to rock up, to pitch up, and to connect with them on a more regular basis. Thank you for being with me today, and as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.